going on, everybody? It's week 2 of the fantasy football season. So I kind of just want to do a recap of just what happened this past week, what we're looking forward to. So as we wrap up this first week, as a Bears fan, this is probably the worst first week of my entire football memory. I mean, just blowing a 20-point lead in the second half. Come on, Bears. So just seeing from a fantasy standpoint, we got 2 really close matchups this past week, and then the others were way more lopsided. All right, so the first matchup we're going to look into is the Le'Veon Bullet Bell and Saquon State of Mind. So looks like really it was kind of even at the start going through the first 1 o'clock games, but really it's all about Alvin Kamara and James Conner. These two guys both got over 30 points this week. And then on top of that, Aaron Rodgers' second half. I mean, Felipe had no chance. Sorry, Felipe. But no, Felipe actually have quite a few guys that I'm looking at and be like, you know what, there's definitely potential. This is just 1 week. Deshaun Watson had to face New England and only got 12 points. So typically I'm looking at 20 points for him. Barkley had a nice game. McCaffrey, I don't know if he's going to get as many touches as he did this week. Only getting 10 points. He was getting beat pretty badly by Dallas's defense. But Gronkowski, 20 points, got a touchdown late in the first few minutes of that game. And then Drew Brees on the bench was killing it. So definitely there's potential there, not to get too worried. But Le'Veon Bullet Bell, huge week. I don't know if they can get the same output from Connor and Kamara week in, week out. But definitely looking like a very dangerous team. All right, so in my game against the Central Valley B-Dogs, this is definitely the weakest matchup of the week. My team per se didn't do anything too high. Everyone was pretty balanced. Had David Johnson with 15, Antonio Brown 20, AJ Green 16. The usual you're going to get from those guys. Jordan Howard 13. So it was pretty consistent what I was looking for. I was hoping more from Chris Hogan, who's really, other than Gronkowski, the only target for Brady. He only got 1 point. Jim Graham only got 1 point. Steelers D did surprisingly well, considering they only tied at the Browns. And then looking for the B-Dogs, so obviously very biased team. Got Niners, Oakland, and Fresno State guys, and that's basically it. But looking at the team, it's not a bad team at all. Just this week was rough because Leonard Fournette got injured early in the game, and then Marquise Goodwin got injured immediately. Didn't even have a catch. Didn't have any points and got hurt. So I wouldn't expect them to score only 80 points for the rest of this year. That'd be a little low. I'll expect Mark to get some wins this year. And then moving on, we're going to go to... This is probably the biggest matchup of the week. Biggest, highest scoring matchup of the week. Mount Prospect Knights and the Mushroom Kingdom Racers. So this game was pretty tight going into Monday night. I think Lucas had a 2-point lead, 3-point lead. But looking at Mount Prospect, just stacked from top to bottom. Everyone performed pretty well other than Kelvin Benjamin only had 1 point. But everyone else at least had around 15 to 20. So super consistent performances across the board there. And then the Mushroom Kingdom Racers, also decent. I mean, everyone was getting around 10 to 15. And then, my goodness, Tyreek Hill. He had 44 points. And one of them being a punt return touchdown. He's scary. He could definitely be one of the best fantasy players this year. And then we're going to wrap it up with Kirsten versus the Princess Peaches Beach. This one was really close, too. This was definitely like, we didn't know going into Monday night who was going to come out with a victory. Early, it looked like Kirsten because Golden Tate ended up getting 17 points. So we're like, okay, despite how bad the Lions were at 17 points, that should be okay. But then we're like, Todd Gurley for Princess Peaches Beach. Todd Gurley's going to get 20 points every week. So definitely wasn't guaranteed for Kirsten, and Todd Gurley puts up 24 and gets the dub. All right, so going to wrap up the power rankings. This week, I'm just doing top to bottom, who scored the most points, who didn't. Just keeping it simple this week. So Le'Veon Bullet Bell, over 160 points. No-brainer, number 1 there. Just solid performance. I don't know if that's going to continue, especially when the 2 running backs scored really high and no one else was doing that well. So we'll see. And then we have Mushroom Kingdom Racers and Mount Prospect, obviously right there, both scoring in 150s. If anything, I would think Mount Prospect has a little bit more of an edge there, being more consistently across the board. But considering the points, I'll give Mushroom Kingdom Racers the number 2 spot. Princess Peaches Beach and Kirsten Jacobs right there too, both in 130s. Myself, Green Greens, gonna go at number 6. Got the dub, but was not impressive at all. And then Saquon State of Mind, Schunsville Valley Bulldogs. Both potential, definitely a lot of potential with both, but just not a great week 1 performance. That's all I got for you guys. Tune in to next week. I might not do this again, but we'll see.